So the BPT of 5%, do you think that can already be brought back to
I have made my
4%?
position about that, and I have said that I don't want it rolled back. I'd like to see what fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021 gives, because as a result of what has happened, we were able to actually also close the gap as a result of President Trump's Jobs Act legislation that took away about 68 million from our general fund. So those are the kinds of things that I am really looking at, Heidi, before, and like I have said, I have spoken to many business leaders also, and they are okay with the 5%.
Will that be? Will that stay at least until 2020, fiscal year 2021? So 2022, there might be a
I would like
consideration.
for it to stay, and I'd like for it to stay forever.
With many accolades and celebrations. Half a day, Guam, Micronesia, Vegas, New York, Louisiana, and Jigo. Welcome to Kandit News. I am Johnny Rosario, and it is September 13th, Friday. I usually, this kind of day kind of freaks me out, but we're supposed to be grown-ups, right? Tonight I'm just gonna go over some of the things that we've been working on this past couple weeks. I think the latest one is 3 weeks. So please don't forget to like and share our page. Our numbers are back. And don't forget, we also have a YouTube page. It's Kandit News Group. You can watch it there too on your big screen TV. A lot of people like it. So don't forget to go there and like and follow our page. Okay, let me. Prim, you can cast to my screen.
Okay. Shoot.
Where is your money? Where is your refund? Governor Lulian Guerrero is sitting on $69 million in cold hard cash, while about 45,000 people owed an anticipated $60 million wait for her promise of fiscal responsibility to make it to their pockets. That's an average check of $1,333 per taxpayer owed a refund. The money, dubbed Section 30 cash, was wired by the U.S. Treasury Department on Wednesday. As of today, Friday the 13th of September, she is sparing $1.3 million from the government treasury to pay tax refunds for those with error-free returns who filed through February 21, 2019. While we're happy for the 487 people who will receive their refund in the mail, we're wondering why it's taking so long to cut the checks for the other 98.2% of filers and anticipated filers. The government of Guam is flush with cash right now. The Section 30, 69 million is in advance payment of a portion of all the taxes federal workers on Guam are anticipated to pay to the Internal Revenue Service from October 1, 2019 to September 30, 2020. That time period is known as fiscal year 2020 in both the local and federal governments. The Organic Act of Guam requires that all income taxes collected on Guam belong to the government of Guam. So the IRS is supposed to reimburse the Department of Revenue and Taxation for these taxes that come out of federal employees' paychecks. In actuality, the IRS pays it in advance every year. The Guam legislature factors in the Section 30 money in every budget, then tells the governor what she can and cannot do with that money. For this round of Section 30 money, the only restriction the legislature placed on it was the requirement to use some 20 million of the 69 million to pay for the repayment of some of the bonds the government has borrowed. That leaves about 49 million left for the governor to pay bills, like tax refunds. The simple arithmetic allows us to arrive at this conclusion about the sum left over. There isn't enough Section 30 money to take care of all the tax refunds that need to be paid for tax year 2018 and prior years that were recently claimed. Just today, Daphne Shimizu, the Director of Revenue and Taxation, filed a report with the legislature on tax refunds. As of the end of last month, DRT has processed error-free corporate tax returns for tax years 2006 through 2017, amounting to 11.51 million in refunds owed to these businesses. Another 5.33 million in tax refunds are now owed to individual filers for those same tax years. These businesses and people, because these are prior year refunds, go to the front of the line and will be paid immediately. That's 16.84 million, and of that, 49 million Section 30 balance out the door leaves only 32 million and some change for tax years 2018 tax refunds. The two $32 million questions are: 1. Will Mrs. Leon Guerrero decide to use all this money to pay tax refunds? And 2, if she does, up to what filing date will that money cover? We asked Governor's spokeswoman Crystal Paco and Department of Administration Deputy Director Edith Pangilinan these questions Wednesday. And the reason why we had to ask Crystal and Edith is because both Bern and Janella are on leave. Ms. Pangilinan has not replied to any of our follow-ups. Ms. Paco replied this evening that the administration is gathering the answers to these questions. The absence of answers at this point means one thing. There's 69 million in cash sitting in a Bank of Guam account, and none of that money will be heading to the people waiting for a refund this weekend. For the taxpayers who filed for their refund on February 22nd, the wait for them as of today numbers 203 days. It's been 151 days of waiting if you filed for your refund on April 15. According to Adelupe's silence on your money, there's no telling how much longer you're going to wait for your refund. On the other hand, the government takes your money like clockwork. GovGuam rips that money from your paycheck so quickly that the transaction for your taxes is written on a receipt called the pay stub attached to your paycheck. The withholding of your money for income taxes literally is done before you even see your paycheck. You've overpaid taxes over the course of a calendar year if you're able to claim a refund without qualifying for the earned income credit. As a matter of fact, the tax return you filed this year isn't even to refund you what you overpaid this year. It's to refund your overpayment of taxes last year. Every paycheck you earned last year, the government took the taxes you owed and then took a little bit more. The laws of common sense and decency tell any reasonable person that all of the money the government took that exceeded what you actually owed in taxes is money the government owes you. It isn't the government's money. As soon as all the numbers are figured out and you're able to claim what's rightfully yours, the government should pay it to you. And in order for the government to have that money on hand to pay you what you're owed, the government should have been storing that overpayment of taxes into a bank account over that 1 year period. This isn't just the law of common sense and decency. This also is the law of Guam. There's a compilation of laws called the Guam Code Annotated that's divided into 26 subject areas called titles. Title 11 is the assembly of all the laws related to finance and taxes on Guam. Tucked away in Chapter 51 of that Title 11 is a section, subsection 511.02 called Deposit of Funds. The legislature left some very specific instructions on how exactly the governor is going to make sure that money you overpay in taxes over a 1-year period is stored safely in a bank account so that it is ready for you to cash in by January of the following year. Not April, not September, January, or whenever it is you damn well please to demand the government pay you back what it took from you without your permission. Here's exactly what the relevant part of that section says. The Director of Department of Administration, DOA, shall directly deposit upon receipt of any payment of income tax, including but not limited to individual, corporate, and withholding taxes, interest, and penalties to the trust fund, a portion of the tax payment received to be calculated by multiplying the amount of tax payment received by the quotient derived from the provision for tax refunds, the dividend, divided by the total income taxes, including but not limited to individual, corporate, withholding taxes, interest, and penalties. The divisor, amounts adopted in the pertinent government of Guam fiscal year budget, so that at the end of the fiscal year, the total amount set aside in said budget for income tax refunds, the earned income tax credit and advanced child tax credit shall have been deposited in said fund. So if the governor right now were following this law, here's what would be happening. 1, since January 1st this year and through to December 31 this year, a percentage of all income taxes you pay would be placed in an actual savings account. Number 2, the total amount that would be placed into the savings account by the end of this year will equal the amount of money everyone overpaid in taxes. Number 3, on January 1 next year, all of the money you and everyone else is owed will be ready to be refunded to you just as soon as you file your claim through your tax return. This is the math behind how that will happen, as instructed very clearly by the legislature. Find out what percentage of taxes you pay throughout this year will be set aside into the tax refund savings account by dividing 2 numbers you will find in the fiscal year 2020 budget law. A, the provision for tax refunds. B, the total of income taxes projected. C, 31.09%. Number 2, for every $100 in taxes that everyone pays, the government is supposed to be storing away $31.09 so that by the beginning of next year, there's enough money to pay the refund of everyone owed that money. Take a wild guess how much of every $100 in taxes the government has been setting aside as the law requires. 0 is the correct answer. The government of Guam has not set aside the overpayment of taxes for refunds in 25 years. Instead, Gov Guam borrows and uses your overpayment in taxes every year in order to keep itself afloat. And no matter how much more money it collects one fiscal year after another, the one thing that never changes about government finances is its ability to set aside the money it owes you. Every year Gov Guam uses it. No effort is made to dedicate additional cash collections to set aside. Neither is an effort made to cut spending so the government can set aside your money to pay you back on time. That is the financial reason for noncompliance with this law. But there's a legal reason too. The Guam legislature sued former Governor Eddie Calvo to make deposits into this fund, as the law dictates. The Supreme Court found that the Organic Act of Guam and the doctrine of the separation of powers grants the governor exclusive power over management of cash. E.g., the legislature can't force the governor to deposit the money into the account, so he didn't. Enter Ms. Leon Guerrero. She changes nothing about this fiscal policy she inherited from Mr. Calvo and their 2 predecessors, former Governor Felix Camacho and Carl Gutierrez. Enter Congressman Michael Siniclis to force the governor to do what she should have been doing from the start of her term, make the deposits. And he's providing a solution that will trump the Guam Supreme Court ruling. He wants to change the Organic Act so that the governor won't have a choice but to follow the law and set aside this money every year. The effect of such an act of Congress will be sweeping. Not only will Guam taxpayers no longer have to wait months for their refunds, the government of Guam will be forced into a day of reckoning. At long last, if this law is passed, Guam senators and governor will have to come face to face with the dark demons of its carelessness, financial recklessness, inability to prioritize and budget resources, fiscal incompetence, and complete lack of accountability. The consequence of requiring the deposit of cash every time you pay your taxes from your paychecks will most certainly mean a swift cut in government spending on major contracts and personnel. Otherwise, the Guam legislature will have to explain to the public why it needs to increase taxes in order to pay tax refunds. Not a very salutable public policy for people addicted to re-election and delusions of grandeur. The governor has complained that such an Organic Act amendment threatens Guam's self-governance. I think a reasonable person already has surmised that Guam's inability to pay its people what they are owed already has undermined any notion of self-government. As to Ms. Leon Guerrero's recent celebration of arrival of Section 30 money that apparently is the resurrection of the lost gospels of Lou Leon Guerrero's fiscal responsibility fable, we're left wondering, if that was your answer Wednesday, why haven't you paid the refunds yet? It's already Friday. Hop to it, Governor. So, yeah, we really didn't get a response. And the response from the governor's office, they didn't give an exact date. So let's just hope and pray that everybody gets their money real soon.
Wait, so Janella's on leave again?
Janella's on leave again.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I am gonna go into the follow-up. We emailed. Don't go to the screen yet, okay, Prim?
Shoot.
We followed up the Mike St. Nicholas issue of the complaint filed against him at the Guam Election Commission. So let me find that email that we wrote the Election Commission. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. Sorry.
Hang on.
Hang on. And I believe it is... What's today? The 3rd, so the 9th. Somewhere here. CCU, Regine, Twitter.
Try typing in GC, bro.
Oh, sorry. I just had it. Hold on. Student complaints, Daphne. I think, here we go. Wait. There you go. Here on Friday, you can go to the screen, Prim. On Friday, September 6th, 7 days ago, we sent an email to Maria Pangilinan. And this is what the email said. Buenas, Maria, may you please answer our questions. Last year, in the wake of accusations I made regarding election code misconduct by former Governor Eddie Calvo, former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, Jadine Tuncap, and others, you said on News Talk K57 that the GEC was not officially aware of these accusations, and in the absence of an official complaint, the Commission could do nothing in the way of an investigation. A couple days ago, you told Patty Arroyo on the same program that based on media stories, the commission will be launching an investigation into alleged election code violations by Congressman Mike Sinicolas. Why the difference in GEC's conduct? What makes this different from last year's nudge to look into improprieties? Number two, according to the election code, the GEC has 13 days from the formal complaint being lodged to launch an investigation. How can the GEC launch an investigation into the absence of a formal complaint? What timeline will you follow since this is not prescribed in law? Number three, and that question, okay, we understand because he finally did make a complaint. Will you recommend the recusal of GEC Chairman Mike Paris, considering his relationship with the woman who is known to be aligned with Congressman Sinicolas' accuser? Why or why not? Number four, will you recommend the recusal of GEC member Ken Paris, since he publicly has called for the removal of Congressman Sinicolas from the Democratic Party of Guam? Why or why not? As of 4 days ago, September 9, we still didn't receive anything, and Troy asked her, Buenas Maria, may we please get a response? Thank you. So up to today, we still haven't received any response from the Guam Election Commission. Okay, I'm also going to. When the news first broke out that there was some kind of dengue here, I believe this is. Do you remember the name of that lady? It was just today we received the email, right?
From Public Health, right?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't have my phone.
And here we go. On, I believe 3 weeks. Here we go. I got it. Hold on, I hate this because I don't know how to. Where's the one prior? Here we go. Troy sent a message. I guess this is the one from today, but he explains it. Dear Dr. Pobutsky, 3 weeks ago, we were concerned that exposing a patient suspected of having dengue to an environment outside of quarantine where dengue-capable mosquitoes are would lead to the spread of infection on Guam. You sent us the statement below. Now that we know that there's at least one dengue-carrying mosquito on this island, which caused the virus to infect at least one person, do you now believe that those who were earlier suspected of having dengue should have been quarantined? How will DPHSS explain this lapse in judgment to the public, who counted on your policies and actions to prevent local dengue infection? On August 20, she wrote, Dr. Pobutsky, the DPS, on August 20, she replied to Kandit. She said, the Department of Public Health and Social Services has no reason to quarantine any suspected unconfirmed dengue cases. And that was August 20th. So now Guam has a dengue, a case of dengue fever. And I guess, and that person has no travel history either. So her response to Troy today says, since dengue fever is not spread from person to person, dengue fever cases do not require quarantine. The dengue virus is spread through the bite of an infected mosquito, so the most effective way to prevent future cases is to eliminate mosquitoes that might bite infected persons, then spread the virus to uninfected persons. The best way to do this is to eliminate places where mosquitoes breed, standing water, containers of water. Please refer to the press release and dengue fact sheet sent out on September 12, 2019. All confirmed or suspected cases of dengue fever on Guam are advised to stay indoors to reduce the risk of potential transmission of virus via mosquitoes. Quarantines are extreme measures that are effective primarily for serious diseases spread by human to human contact. Okay. If I read this right, the only way dengue is going to spread is if a mosquito bites me.
An infected mosquito.
Okay? I'm not sure if this doctor is correct. Maybe I'm wrong. But if that person who was suspected a couple weeks ago was quarantined and was not able to get bit by a mosquito that can carry dengue, this person who is confirmed to have dengue never left Guam. So I'm not sure if the people at Public Health, and now I'm concerned. So people, stay in your house, make sure there's no sitting water outside. And where I live in Jigo, there's a lot of mosquitoes. I'm at a loss for words on this. I really wish Troy was here so we can duke it out and he can say all the bad things. But he's not. So I'm just going over, please bear with me, everybody. I'm just going over the things that I felt needed to come out tonight. Okay, there is a magistrate's complaint against Prim. I don't want you to go to my screen. I'm not sure if the victim's name is on here, and I just want you to put up the perpetrator's picture.
Got it.
Okay?
That's Charfers, right?
Yeah,
Or Charlotte?
Chargaloff.
Boom. Shit, you talked about dengue and I'm like, I just remembered I'm outside with mosquitoes
There's Troy.
Hi, Troy.
with the dengue fever outside.
Yeah, he just came in because there's mosquitoes out there too.
I'm fucking scratching my goddamn arms to
Okay, where's today's oh, there, never mind, I found it.
Oh, who got arrested?
You're gonna listen to this, Cello.
While I'm talking.
The people of Guam versus Joseph Anthony Blas, attempted fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct and harassment. On or about September 11, 2019, officers responded to a walk-in criminal sexual conduct complaint while at the Agana Precinct Command. At the time, the officer met with victim who stated she had been sexually assaulted by a male known to her, later identified as Joseph Anthony Blas Chargaloff. The victim stated that between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., same date, she had been preparing dinner when she felt her body go limp. She felt weak and had to be assisted to the shower and get dressed. She was later left in a bedroom to rest. At this time, she was not able to move, but was aware of what was happening around her. Later in the evening, the defendant entered the room and took a shower. When he got dressed, the defendant shook her to get her up. She could not. The defendant then took off her shorts and top. Later, he took off her panty, mid-thigh, and looked at her exposed vagina. He pulled her panty back up. The defendant pulled the victim's bra and exposed her breasts and commented on them. The defendant then sniffed at the victim's neck and kissed her on the lips. He spread and closed her legs again. He then kissed her neck and lips. The defendant stopped after the victim was able to gather her strength, move, and push the defendant off of her. So that is crazy. I'm not sure why she went limp, but maybe I think he might have given her something to do that to her. So his name is Joseph Anthony Blas Chargaloff. I'm not sure what village he's from, but
He's from Joanne Brown's village.
and then also we brought to you a story about UOG and their cabal of sexual the students that were sexually harassed and there was one that went to court, and that was, what is his name? Ellard. Well, Troy sent an email to UOG. And this is the same UOG Robert Underwood was in charge of, okay? Same time frame. That's who allowed this shit to happen. So we sent an email to UOG. Where is that? And we got a response today. That's not it. What's the name of the huh? Jonas? Jonas. Okay, no, that's not it. Isa, Jenna, Crystal, Major. Hold on, guys. Hang on. Sorry. Don't do this to me right now. How do you spell the last name?
MACA.
Uh-huh.
IN.
There's nothing. Maybe I'm in the wrong email. Is it in your person? Is it in the
Detroit.
your own Troy?
Yeah.
Okay. Here. Yeah, see, we got automatic reprise out of the office to Janella and Edburn.
4:41 p.m.
That's when we got it?
Yeah, 4:41. My account.
I think I'm in the wrong one. I don't know. Ron.
Just go through the first.
We sent an email on Monday. Buenas, Dr. Christ and Dr. Macapinalak. Sorry, guys. This request is made pursuant to the authority granted by subsection 10103 of Chapter 10 of Division 1 of Title 5 of the Guam Code Annotated, the Freedom of Information Act. Please provide via email reply to me all copies of the records of the complaints made by University of Guam students against UOG faculty from 1995 to present. Please redact only the information exempted from public disclosure as defined specifically under the FOIA. That was Monday. On Tuesday, it says, "Good morning. May we please have your acknowledgement to this demand for information?" On Wednesday, we get a response, and Jonas Macapanilak says, "Half a day, Mr. Torres. We have received this request. We will respond within allowable time frame. Thank you for following up." Then, today, at 4:41 p.m., "Half a day, Mr. Torres. Please see the attached response from UOG Interim Legal Counsel Anthony Camacho regarding your request." How do I open it?
Is it the PDF? Should be there in the attachment.
All the way at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay. Ooh, I need glasses. Response to your September 9 Freedom of Information request. Dear Mr. Torres, I have received your email dated September 9, 2019, requesting, pursuant to Guam's Freedom of Information Act, as codified in 5 GCA 10103, copies of various documents. Your request and the University of Guam's responses to them are as follows. Request all copies of the records of the complaints made by University of Guam students against UOG faculty from 1995 to present. UOG's response. Your request is hereby denied because the records you request that are in UOG's custody or control are exempt from disclosure, as they are either records pertaining to pending litigation to which UOG is a party, or they are records of complaints to UOG or records concerning investigations conducted by UOG, or they are records of UOG's security procedures or information, and portions of such non-disclosable records are also subject to attorney-client privilege. This information is exempt from disclosure pursuant to 5 GCA 10108 and Rule 504, see Guam Rules of Evidence. Please contact me at 735-2990 if you have any questions. Sincerely, Anthony R. Camacho, Escrow, Interim UOG Legal Counsel. So UOG is not sharing with us any information that we are requesting, and that is not what the law they stated. It doesn't protect them from that. Correct, Troy? So they don't want to show us how many complaints and what they did about those complaints. So they are probably destroying the files, according to Eric. And I would just like to thank Dr. Robert Underwood for the great leadership he has shown at UOG. So that's all for the news. I want to give a shout out to Caritas LG, who sent us some wonderful gifts, snacks. And it's gifts because I'm grateful that Prim, can we wait? Let me get there first. I want to show everybody the snacks. What were the snacks? It's not the same anymore. Here we go. You can go to my screen, Cello. Those are the snacks, and this is what was sent with it. Half a Day Kandit News Group. Just wanted to let you all know that I am grateful for all that you contribute to making Guam a better place to live. From an Odish Chamorro girl from Guam. Caritas LG. Thank you so much. Troy really loves it. So does Eric, and so do I. And all the kids. Because Kandit got a lot of kids. If you guys want CBD products, lotion, there's more. Lotions, gummies, there's all kinds of stuff. Oils, tinctures. And I only know how to say tinctures because I used to be a bad girl. CBD capsules, they have edibles, topicals, isolates, I think. And they also have CBD for pets, drinks, powders, and merchandise. I'm not sure what merchandise, but go to healinggardenguam.com. And that's...
He has CBDs for pets?
Yeah, it says CBD pets.
You didn't fucking tell me anything about that.
Yeah. Oh, you're in trouble, Brian, because you didn't tell Troy about that. I also want to let everybody know about Chaffee's, Chifee's, I keep saying Chaffee. Chifee's fundraiser. Him and his brother actually have done this. This is Chifee's first time, and I think Kaysen also did one. And it's maybe next year I'm gonna make my kids join that because it teaches them how to give back to the community, how to help the community. So it's not just getting pretty. So Little Mr. Guam candidate fundraiser, and this is over at Buddy's Billards at 6 o'clock. So please come join us
Tomorrow, right?
tomorrow. Yes, and we're gonna have great raffle prizes. So please come out and help Chifee out. And then I guess that's it. That's it. Yeah. Happy Friday the 13th. Please be careful. The night is not over. Thank you, Guam. Good night.